a lot of people in the ball python game are really trying to accomplish one of a couple things. The first one is usually people stacking those world first 8, 10, 12 gene combos of like the triple and quad recessive things and things like that. The other one is that for a lot of, this is more of the more old school guys, are trying to almost create their own line of things. And we've actually seen some good examples of that. For instance, Marcus Jane is well known for his line of Orange Dream. I know there's that other weird like high intensity Orange Dream out there that it's a little bit hazy on whether or not that's actually even a legitimate line by now, but Marcus Jane animals almost always do have a real look to them versus other people that just kind of stack genetics. And I'm not going to name drop that. We just kind of know, you're okay, buddy. We know who that is. But what I'm trying to do is something very similar to that, where I'm trying to make my own little line. A lot of breeders want to be known for something, if not just particular lines or combos. Where someone wants to be really well known, like they want to be the IMG Boa guy, or they want to be the spot nose clown person, although everyone does spot nose clown combos except for me because I don't really know how to differentiate spot nose, but I know ball python people, you'll get mad at me or not. But what I am really trying to do, which is something that we just kind of fell into and it ended up really lucking out, and that is I'm trying to see whether or not it's even possible and if we can create our own line of very high white calicos. Now, calico is a dominant gene. It's not incomplete dominant or co-dominant, as more popularly said sometimes, where you can't put a calico to calico and get a super calico. It either it is or it isn't, and there's varying degrees of expression that they can in fact display. So this is North here. North is what we were at least purchased as a single gene calico. There's nothing else going on with him as far as we know. And he has sired multiple clutches for us over the past couple years. And other than one super weird clutch that it was like a sperm retention and possibly 2 other fathers in the split clutch, so there may even be 3 different sires to this one clutch, that nothing we've ever seen has ever really suggested that he's anything other than a calico, and a very really good looking high white calico at that. Obviously it's called calico because of the 3 different colors of the white, the brown, and the black, similar to like the calico cats, the orange, the black, and the white. And obviously a lot of the calicos, they also have a little bit of yellow mixed in there as well. And what we've essentially, we got him and then his sister that I'm going to bring out here in just a second. They are kind of the founding stock of our calico lines. I know that there's another one out there. It's called like whitewash or whiteout or something like that. I know those are 2 different ones that I think one may or may not be a derivative of this kind of high white calico. And more knowledgeable ball python people, feel free to comment down below. But when I've talked to my more knowledgeable associates about my calico projects, they all say kind of the same thing, which is they're not 100% sure and maybe good luck. But theoretically, the idea with line breeding is trying to get the whatever is the most you can. So if you're doing like pink snakes or the coral snakes or whatever, you're trying to get the pinkest animals. So you breed the pinkest animals together. Same with the darkest animals and so on and so forth. So what we're trying to do is try to put the highest white animals together and a little bit of the pixelation, because I really like the pixelation that comes in with like the bamboos and the spiders and the calicos. That I really do like that kind of look to them. So I'm trying to get the highest white, the most pixelation animals to see if we can in fact reproduce that in subsequent generations and see if we can develop our own line of high white calico animal. And we are having a varied success with that. Essentially what we've come down to where it's about 2/3 of every calico clutch that we produce that it's an actual calico animal are a higher white, nicer looking animal, and then one is a moderate to low expression calico, but still usually one that we can very clearly tell it is. It's not one of those we have to sit there and like look for a little ringer or like a little white spot. So let me go get his sister, the other founding animal of the line, and then I will show you the other animals that we have managed to produce, and we are now in our 2nd going into 3rd gen of our calico projects. Now, this is North's sister. This is Carolina. Now, some of you may know where I'm going with this as far as theming and naming goes, at least with some of the more older stock animals. Now, Carolina and North purchased its siblings that were both just called Calico, although clearly you can tell there's another gene in play with South here, and that is Pastel. You can clearly tell by the lighter color on the dorsal as well as that head. That is a very classic pastel look. And generally, when you combine pastel and calico, you usually get a more high white animal. But even then, this is exceptionally high white, very high pixelated, and a very beautiful animal. Now, Carolina was the first one that we actually got eggs out of first. It wasn't until the next year when North sired his very first clutch. So Carolina has now Carolina has now produced 2 different clutches for us, including one that was an amazing holdback that we did keep, and then now he has now produced, so this will be the second generation of what will hopefully be our high white calico lines. So we're going to put Carolina away, this wonderful, beautiful girl, and then we're going to show you her son, the first generation of the calico. All right, so this animal is who we named Tuxedo Mask, because the theme of the year for our holdbacks that year was Sailor Moon. So we have Artemis and Moon and Saturn and Tuxedo Mask. So now Tuxedo Mask was a combination of Carolina, so the pastel calico, to another male that we no longer have, who unfortunately lost to an intestinal tumor, whose name was Jersey. And he was a pastel lesser yellow belly. And so when this guy came out, and he had a sister that we're 99% sure was the super pastel version of him, we weren't 100% sure what was going on, because even though he has very much yellowed out, as a lot of ball pythons are prone to do, when he was born, he was incredibly white, to where this kind of tail end portion here, this was basically all white, and it kind of faded down, which is where that whitewash or white out, whichever one it was, is something that we were really thinking that maybe this is where it came from. Because the breeder that we got them from, I think, is known to produce those animals. So at the time, what we thought might have been the case is that he was a pastel, calico, yellow belly, and then maybe a lesser. And that's because of the pattern that is along his neck right here. That we were thinking maybe it looks a little lesser-ish, kinda. I know it doesn't look quite as much now, considering how yellow he is and all the other yellow belly influence on there too. And then we're pretty sure that his sister, who unfortunately failed to thrive, was the super pastel version, who was basically white from about here down, was just solid white, had that classic super pastel head stamp. And so unfortunately Tuxedo Mask did yellow out as he got older, but he's still an absolutely incredible and very unique looking animal that has that really great high white calico influence that is aided by both the pastel and the yellow belly. So this year we paired him to an Orange Dream Lemon Blast. And so even though it's a very old combination, the Lemon Blast is a pinstripe pastel, so then Orange Dream. So theoretically we're going to make super pastel Orange Dream calico pinstripe yellow bellies. Is something that could potentially be in there. But I will also show you animals that came from both Carolina and North that are holdbacks from last year, and then I will show you his offspring that we produced this year. This little girl is Catbus, so you can probably pretty quickly figure out what the theme for last year's holdbacks were. So Catbus is just a straight calico. That's it. Catbus was a combination of Carlsbad, who is one of our very nice high-quality Orange Dreams, and then Carolina. So just a straight calico, no yellow belly, no other influence, no Orange Dream in here, no pastel influence. You can tell by the very dark dorsal pattern. This is just a nice, really full dorsal striped calico, and then the really nice high white, high pixelation. So this is what I'm talking about, where those 2/3 of the babies are coming out, this absolutely beautiful looking animal. This little girl right here, Catbus, was definitely the nicest of Wish, but we did hold back one more in her clutch, which is her sister. And what happened then is where essentially we just added one more gene to it, where you can clearly see that made all the difference. This little girl, Chihiro here, we added Orange Dream from Carlsbad, that really nice high quality Orange Dream. So this is an Orange Dream calico. That's it. There's no pastel. You can tell by the head. It's not that lighter head stamp nor towards the back of the head. That's very symptomatic of the pastel. So this is just calico and Orange Dream. And you can clearly see the world of difference that it made in Chihiro. You can see the really nice high white on the sides, and then the brightness of the orange, and then it gets that really nice dorsal striping. I really love the spider gene but obviously I don't really want to breed the spiders a whole lot, and so that's why something like this is just so appealing with the crazy contrast highlights and that really nice spider webbing dorsal stripe. I absolutely love what your hero is doing, and in another 2 years, hopefully, she'll be doing something really, really good. This little girl is a different clutch. This was actually sired by North, and the mother had pastel in her. So this is a pastel calico sired by North. So the previous two and Tuxedo Mask all come from Carolina's lineage, although obviously they're siblings at the end, so these guys are essentially cousins. So this girl was actually a cousin, and this comes from North, and then another female. So we got the pastel. Now, what's really cool is that a lot of times with Calico, when you have these high expressions, she's still a little twitchy, but she's still a little girl, is you get this really cool, like really pixelated pattern along the tail end portion of her. And that looks absolutely beautiful. And then you get that really nice high white, really cool looking pattern that is very reminiscent of Carolina. Sorry about that. There's a lot of different ones playing around in my head. I'm just going through a bunch of animals at the moment. Now, this girl will potentially even be a brighter, wider, nicer looking animal than even Carolina, her aunt, in a number of years, but we'll see. Although, as usual, as you've now seen, especially in the case of Tuxedo Mask, as they get older, they do have a tendency to kind of bland out. But, so these are all technically, even though different years, Tuxedo Mask obviously being a couple years older, these are all still technically Gen 1. Yeah, I know you're grumpy, that's why I'm over here. These are all technically Gen 1 of the Calico line, with North and Carolina being Gen 0. So let me show you now Gen 2. That was the offspring of Shenandoah, that Orange Dream and Lemon Blast that I talked about, and Tuxedo Mask, our crazy high white combo who's now a little bit yellow. Okay, so this little one is the G2 of the Calico line, or the Generation 2. Second generation, whatever, it makes sense. So, do you remember I said that the parents are Tuxedo Mask and then the Orange Dream Lemon Blast, whose name is Shenandoah. So there is the possibility of the Super Pastel, along with all of the other combos and morphs in there. And so that's exactly what this little one is that I'm 99.99999% sure is that this is a Super Pastel Calico. So you can see that back, the very bright white, really pale back head stamp. That is that Super Pastel at play. And then obviously the Calico. I don't think this is a Yellow Belly. Yellow Belly normally has a little bit different siding along where it comes to the Calico. And then I'm very confident this is an Orange Dream. The Orange Dream pastel combos that I've made in the past are usually a little bit different looking. I think this is just a really nice high quality, that Super Pastel, brightening it up with that Calico. And I absolutely love the siding on this little one right here. It has all the stuff that I like, the really nice high peaks, the really nice high contrast, even with a little bit of that kind of like busy fading there at the tail end. So this is that G2, and I very much look forward to producing even more stuff down the road that are coming out of the combinations with these guys, and I even look even more forward to adding more Orange Dream in there to hopefully get Super Orange Dream, and even throwing in things like maybe even Desert Ghost or a Hypo or even Bamboo to get even more of the crazy kind of dorsal striping. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this little cool little video, gave me an excuse to show off some animals that I'm very, very proud of, forgive the flies, and that to show off essentially what one of the things I'm trying to kind of get known as, other than just the other YouTube guy with the ponytail and the hat and who just kind of talks like this all the time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you all so much. Stay tuned for more other reptiles content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas for other videos, please let me know down in the comment section. You can email me, all the other fun stuff. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends. Super appreciate it. And again, hope you're having a great day, and we'll check you next time.